So pretty exciting day for me as the Giants hired new GM Joe Schoen. I don't really think I'm going to do a separate reaction video on that because, I mean, what am I going to say for, a decent amount of time about it? I'm excited and we'll see what happens because that's what it's going to come down to. But many of you were also tweeting me about Daniel Jeremiah's new mock draft 1.0. He's right at the top of the list of guys I respect the most for not only player evaluation but player projection historically. So anytime Daniel Jeremiah posts a mock draft, I am very excited to dive into it and see the player fits for the team and what he thinks about these players as well. So did a few of these last year. Definitely make sure to tweet at me. It's at Bengal YouTube. Here it is. And be sure to tweet at me if you have any others you want me to react to over the course of this mock draft season. So let's go ahead and get into it. Daniel Jeremiah 2022 NFL mock draft 1.0. Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis among 3 quarterbacks taken in round 1. I would expect that Matt Corral is the other name, although I wouldn't exactly be shocked to see Desmond Ridder. But let's go ahead and kick things off. Number 1 is Evan Neal. So I think in the last mock draft that I did, it was Evan Neal going number 1 overall. So it's nice to see we're on the same page there. There are some guys that think Ike Ekwonu out of NC State could be the best tackle in the draft. And also it seems like teams prefer to pick offensive linemen versus pass rushers in years that it's a little bit up for grabs about who the number 1 overall player might be. So Evan Neal, number 1. Absolutely don't hate it. Got to protect Trevor Lawrence. Number 2 is Aiden Hutchinson going to the Lions, staying in Michigan. And yeah, maybe the best player available. Certainly don't mind that. But a curveball here at number 3 has the Texans taking Kyle Hamilton. Now, he's a really good player, maybe the best player in the draft, but the thing is, he's a safety, and it seems like value on that is, or at least the position is undervalued in comparison to some of the top pass rushers and tackles. So it's interesting to me that he has Kyle Hamilton going over Kayvon Thibodeau, but I'm sure that leaves the Jets in a perfect position to take Kayvon Thibodeau at number 4. I like Kyle Hamilton a lot. Just it'd be interesting to see a safety go quite that high. But if there's ever a safety that has warranted that selection, it would be Kyle Hamilton of late. Thibodeau at 4, perfect fit for Robert Saleh and his defense. It's tough to get an undervalue, really athletic edge rushers. Thibodeau could be the best player in the draft too. Jets get him at 4. I think the Jets are going to be really happy about whoever they get at number 4 because you're going to have the pick between probably one of the top 2 tackles who are neck and neck and one of the top 2 edge rushers who are neck and neck. So they do really, really well here to land Kayvon Thibodeau. Giants probably going to take Ekwonu, and that's exactly what it is. Ike Ekwonu at NC State. Yeah, would love him at right tackle. He can play guard as well. Played left guard last year. If you've seen any of my mock drafts, I've talked quite a bit about Ike Ekwonu so far. And not only the versatility that he brings to a team, but the talent as he's really progressed and developed as a tackle this season, moving from left guard, which he played in 2020. Panthers at 6 take Sauce Gardner. First corner off the board is Sauce Gardner, Ahmad Gardner from Cincinnati. And the Panthers have a number of needs. I think maybe if Ekwonu or Neal was available, they take him at number 6. Not going to reach on a quarterback or Charles Cross. So who do you take? And it's the best cornerback on the board, according to Daniel Jeremiah. That's very interesting. Panthers, it feels like, to me at least, that corner shouldn't be in their top list of needs. It's just that not only do you have some good players there now, if you can develop and extend some of these guys, Dante Jackson, Stephon Gilmore, brought in CJ Henderson, drafted JC Horn in the top 10 last year. I'd be surprised to see them take a corner at 6. But yeah, with some of the contract stuff, I guess I can understand it. Giants at 7 going Devin Lloyd. It's been forever since the Giants last had a really good linebacker, or at least like true off-ball linebacker. I've had some decent like edge rushers of late. Like last year as a rookie, Azeez Ojolari was pretty good. Sack numbers were a little bit better than his pressure numbers would indicate they should be, but had a really good rookie season overall, I would say. But he's like, plays on the ball. He's an edge rusher. Devin Lloyd can kind of do it all. Kind of like your prototypical Mike linebacker, has the size and the speed. Like Devin Lloyd a lot. That'd be really interesting for the Giants at 7. Although really feel like they need to at least consider edge rusher, like with David Ojabo at number 7, if this is the way things are looking. At number 8, Treylon Burks is the first receiver off the board. DJ compares him to AJ Brown in some ways, it seems. So I like Treylon Burks. Be very interesting to see him go top 10 and be the first receiver off the board to the Falcons. But if you can't retain Calvin Ridley, if he's your best player available, it's very interesting. Broncos at 9, taking Kenny Pickett, first quarterback off the board. Broncos kind of seem like a QB way. Maybe you can bring Von Miller back to Denver. He's going to be a free agent this offseason. And your defense was amazing last year. You have the weapons on offense. It's just, for me, it's building up that O-line a little bit more, letting some of those guys develop, and finding your QB. And maybe Kenny Pickett can be your QB1. Jets take Trent McDuffie. I like Trent McDuffie a lot. I think I said this in my last mock draft, or one of the previous ones, that I'm not sure why he's not being talked about more. And I really like him as a player that can play close to the line of scrimmage as well. I think he works in the nickel. He's a really, really good tackler with tremendous closing speed. And that usually wouldn't be the first two things you bring up for a corner that can play the boundary as well as Trent McDuffie can. Couple of good Washington corners in this draft now. So Trent McDuffie going top 10. A little bit surprised to see it, but I like to see it because I think he's really, really good. Still, no Andrew Booth Jr., no Derek Stingley off the board here in the top 10. Washington football team, which will have a new name when we see them take a draft pick in 2022. I think it's going to be the Admirals, but we'll see. And they take Matt Corral. Yep, that is the third quarterback. Second one off the board, but third in the title, if you remember that. I guess Malik Willis going to go first round as well. Yeah, Corral's real good. Just really quick hit offense at Ole Miss. So it's going to be interesting to see how he actually plays outside of that system. But the arm talent and the athleticism is there. I like Corral and his potential. He's got to go to the right team. Minnesota Vikings take Derek Stingley Jr. So Stingley is a wild card in this draft class. If you watch him solely as a freshman, you'd think he's a lock to go top 5. But if you watch him over the last 2 seasons, though, you probably think he's a borderline first rounder. He has the tools to be successful at the next level, but I have concerns about his inconsistent effort and play strength. Also, injury concerns with him as well. Browns take Trayvon Walker. Been talking a lot about Trayvon Walker on Twitter as well in these videos, obviously. Love his versatility. And let's see. It says Walker has as much upside as any pass rusher in this class. I think that's fair, and especially where you can line him up changes a lot. He can be a 5 tech, and I also think he's quick enough off the ball to even be effective as far as a wide 9, which would be kind of crazy for someone that can play inside. So Trayvon Walker is a freak. I think he can play off the ball too. It's like not his main role, obviously, but if you want to bring in some hybrid different blitz packages, you can just have him drop back into coverage and patrol a little bit of space. Not going to say he's going to play like stand-up outside linebacker, but he's someone that can play off the edge, can be like, you know, your prototypical defensive end, but also if you want, can drop back into coverage every so often. He moves really, really well. And yeah, physical freak, I think, is a apt description for Trayvon Walker. Trevor Penning a lot. We talked about him about, you know, one of these non-power 5, not even group of 5, an FCS player at a UNI. But Trevor Penning is really, really good. So love him going top 15. He is a mauler in the run game and is also freak athlete as well. He was on the Bruce Feldman freaks list going into the year. Pretty crazy. As Karlaftis goes off the board here, Eagles with back-to-back picks. Yeah, certainly like George Karlaftis as a player. And yeah, his upside isn't crazy because of he's just, you know, a decent athlete, but he is a pretty good athlete. Yeah, some guys have talked about the arm length and things like that, but really good hands for George Karlaftis. Interesting to see where David Ojabo goes. I thought he could have been a fringe top 10 guy in this first one, so I don't really think he escapes the top 20, but we'll see. Eagles take Drake London. He is the second receiver off the board and was unreal at USC. Moves really well for a big guy as well. He's like 6'5", and yeah, he's got big time potential, like Drake London. We've been talking about him a lot on the channel as well for mock draft season. He entered the first round of a mock draft for me months and months and months ago. A lot of hype around Bernhard Raimann. He's an Austrian guy that played some receiver and then played some tight end and then bulked up to play OT for Central Michigan. So you have him at left tackle. He's really, really technically refined for a guy that's only been playing the position for a couple of years now. So it's insane, but he is a really, really fun, really good athlete as well, obviously. So Raimann goes first round. Love to see it. Saints go Garrett Wilson. Of course, they love their Ohio State guys. We've talked about that the entire year with Olave and Wilson constantly going to the Saints and building up that Ohio State theme they kind of have going on. They have 3 players in the Ohio State, or in their secondary from Ohio State. And of course, Michael Thomas is an Ohio State guy. A few more guys in there as well. I mean, Pete Warner even is not even in the secondary, but is another Ohio State guy. Eagles take Kenyan Green, maybe the best true guard in this class. Can play tackle as well. Has played every position for Texas A&M except for center the last time I checked. And that was maybe week 8 of the college football season. And I doubt he moved over to center, but has experience playing every O-line position except for center, which is crazy. Charles Cross at 20. See, I think he's someone that could go even earlier. Obviously, in the air raid system, it's a lot of pass pro for Charles Cross at Mississippi State, but he's really athletic out in space as well and can be, I don't want to say a mauler in the run game, but maybe the step below that. Charles Cross is really good. I think he could definitely go pretty high in this draft. Patriots take Jordan Davis, getting their next Vince Wilfork. Love that description. Awesome nose tackle. And Christian Barmore, not the best run defender. At least he wasn't at Alabama. I haven't seen a ton of him this year, although I know he's been quite a good pass rusher. But yeah, getting a nose tackle next to Barmore that can just eat up blocks, and you have a huge stud on the interior of the defensive line that can be that disruptor, that penetrator as a pass rusher. Love that duo. As the Raiders take Chris Olave, yeah, they could use an upgrade at receiver. Deshaun Jackson had a big drop in the playoff game as well, but he's just past his prime. Doesn't even play a ton for the Raiders, and I'm not sure if he's more than a 1-year deal. So yeah, got to try and replace Henry Ruggs. Terrible situation. I think we all know about it. I like Zay Jones. I like Brian Edwards. I like Hunter Renfrow, but they could certainly take a receiver here in round 1. I'm not sure Olave is dominant enough and dynamic enough to warrant the Raiders taking him here. Like, I certainly like him as a player, but I think based on their needs, I would probably hope for them that they go offensive line. Cardinals take David Ojabo. Finally, says Ojabo is a polarizing player in league circles. I love his get-off quickness and ability to bend at the top of the rush, but he's going to need some time and reps to improve against the run. Chandler Jones is a free agent. Yeah, I like Ojabo a lot. I think he may have the highest upside of any edge rusher in the class just because of his freak athleticism. But Thibodeau is a bit of a better pass rusher despite not really having a developed set of moves at this point. And Hutchinson, obviously a bit better as well. But Ojabo is as athletic as any player in this entire draft class. If I had to take probably the 2 best athletes, I would take David Ojabo and Kyle Hamilton. Traylon Burks in that conversation as well. Just overall size, speed, strength, freak guys. So yeah, Ojabo's got crazy upside. Cowboys going with Nakobe Dean. Says that Dean is one of his favorite players in the 2022 class. Oozes instincts and playmaking ability. However, his lack of ideal size at 6 foot 225 will probably cause him to drop a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. I could definitely see them taking an off-ball linebacker. Micah Parsons was so dominant as an edge rusher this past season. And even if you may have drafted him to be an off-ball linebacker, that's clearly not where he's going to be his most dominant. So stick Micah Parsons on the edge and get Nakobe Dean to be, everything you hope that Jalen Smith would have been. Obviously, Smith now has been cut from the Cowboys and has been to multiple different teams since then, Green Bay and the Giants. But yeah, Nakobe Dean, really, really good player. Like him quite a bit. And of course, this order is not set yet. He is Tyler Linderbaum dropping at 25, which is interesting because Linderbaum is one of the best centers we've seen in the draft for some time now, but it is a center, and usually the positional value of a center, just like safety, isn't valued too highly. but the Bengals getting Tyler Linderbaum at 25 would be a major, major steal. Linderbaum as a player might be in the top 10 of the class, but yeah, how high do you take a center? I think he ends up going a bit higher than this, but the Bengals getting him at 25 would be a huge steal. Ooh, Daniel Fa'alele out of Minnesota. Huge right tackle, 6'8", yeah, or 6'9" even. 380. He is a freak. I believe he's from Australia, if I'm not mistaken, rugby background, and then moved to, football and playing tackle at Minnesota, plays right tackle. Yes, from Melbourne, Australia. But yeah, that's certainly interesting. The Dolphins need to protect Tua, and Fa'alele, with being a right tackle, would be Tua's blindside protector as a left-handed quarterback. Need to improve that offensive line a lot, and Fa'alele still lets you be physical in the run game as well, and has the speed and athletic to play on screens and stuff too, which Miami obviously loves to do. And here is the other Washington corner I was alluding to earlier when talking about Trent McDuffie. It's Kyler Gordon. He's only a junior, yeah, so underclassman. Was he a redshirt junior, really? Okay, so he senior in terms of actual year, but redshirt junior. And he was really, really good this past season for Washington. And even though I think Trent McDuffie is better, Kyler Gordon is really, really good, not too far behind either. Love Kyler Gordon for the Bills there. Could see them trying to improve that defense, which is already so good, but I think corner outside of Tre'Davious White could be their weakness, and Gordon could do a bunch of different things for you as well. So, good pick for the Bills. Quay Walker, first round. Not someone I expected to see, but Quay Walker is really, really good. So, it's interesting to see him in the first round. He was someone that could have gone back, I believe, to Georgia with the COVID year. I think he had an extra year of eligibility despite being a senior, because I think he had to declare. I think so, but it's so weird with the whole COVID eligibility. But yeah, Quay Walker is really good. I mean, I like a lot of the players in this draft. I'm not sure that there are, the top upper echelon, top tier guys that we've seen in the draft before, like Myles Garrett or Chase Young, these freak prospects. But there are a bunch of really, really good players. Quay Walker, I think, fits that as well. Lions go Malik Willis. I like that. Jared Goff still under contract for a couple seasons. I think the Lions, with his contract, have an out after 2023. So you are stuck with Jared Goff for a year or two more. But yeah, what can you say? Jared Goff, not it. Malik Willis has big time potential. Huge arm. Great, crazy, great athlete. But it'll be interesting to see if they can actually develop him and make him be a little bit more consistent. 2020 was a better year on tape for Malik Willis. I've only watched 1 or 2 games from Malik Willis this season, and I was not terribly excited. Saw him at Syracuse in the newly renovated Carrier Dome, and then of course watched him against Ole Miss. Haven't actually done any tape breakdown of his 2021, but the consensus seems to be down on him, and he didn't look great at times in this year. So it's interesting to see Malik Willis still go first round. I like him as a player. I love his upside, maybe as much as any QB in this class. But yeah, he's going to need to go to the right spot to develop him and maximize his abilities. Chiefs at 30 go Jameson Williams, getting a steal. Maybe the most dynamic playmaker at receiver in this draft. Has crazy big time speed, but is a pretty good route runner as well. I like Jameson Williams a ton. He's probably, in terms of ability, a top 3 receiver in the class for me. I still like Garrett Wilson as receiver 1, but you could definitely sell me on JMO for receiver 2. ACL is going to hurt him, but yeah, crazy good athlete. Huge playmaker for the Crimson Tide this past season. Of course, Ohio State transfer. Bucks take Jahan Dotson. Amazing ball skills to catch the football outside of his frame, which you wouldn't expect with a smaller receiver. Crazy good hand strength as well. I totally agree with this. Love Jahan Dotson. It's a really good receiver class, and Dotson will be that Chris Godwin replacement if they lose Godwin to free agency. Obviously, Antonio Brown no longer there as well. And the Packers would take Devontae Wyatt. Talked about him on Twitter recently too. I think he's getting not nearly enough hype. And in a not so great D tackle class, I think Devontae Wyatt warranted first round consideration. It's awesome to see him go first round. I think he's a really, really good player. D tackle 2 in the class, and probably the best 3 tech. I like him more than DeMarvin Leal, so it's nice to see him going at this spot. Jordan Davis is a nose tackle. He's playing over the center. He's eating up blocks, even though he can apply a little bit of pressure as well. Good athlete. But Devontae Wyatt is someone that can offer you a little bit more pass rush, despite being someone that can anchor a bit and hold, the offensive linemen when they're trying to run block. Really good at eating up space as well. The Georgia defense is crazy, and if you count the number of players that have been drafted out of Georgia, it's been Wyatt, Quay Walker, Jacoby Dean, Jordan Davis, and they still have some guys that could sneak in the back end as well, like a Lewis Seen at safety without the off-field concerns. Darian Kendrick at corner could be in that conversation as well. Trayvon Walker we still go earlier in this draft too. So out of the players he just had drafted, Trayvon Walker, Devontae Wyatt, Jordan Davis on the defensive line, Quay Walker and Jacoby Dean at linebacker. Even Adam Anderson could end up getting some hype in the back end as well. I think he declared. Oh, that's right. Anderson had the off-field stuff. So yeah, he's probably not in the draft. Never mind. Definitely a really, really fun mock draft. I always like looking at these because you start to get, and it's still early, right? But you start to get a better idea of some of the names that you could see going round 1. In this draft, though, because there are not really a ton of guys that separate themselves from the pack, we could see a lot of variation, not only in the top 10, but through the entire first round. There could be like 50 different guys that could end up going first round or more. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens on draft night. We'll have a lot of draft coverage from now until then, of course. So make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. And I will see you in the next one. Take it easy.
It's insane, I hit it at the park, bend bones. See me high step to the end zone. My life like a game, Nintendo. Playing with the best, let them know. Get off the track, the train's coming through. Yeah, promise you get in my way, then you best believe I'ma just run over you. Yeah, I'ma turn taking it back to the house. Defensive joke, I'm laughing so loud. Speedbird's good.